Purple Orphans. Aegiz, aka Joseph K, aka Tatsuo, aka Antonius Block, Symbiote Crew, 2004. Aegiz in a, you don't stop in a, you want to in a, you don't stop, watch it out. I used to mind being outside looking in through the window, but the voice told me that's not for you, man. Your king rose old on the balcony, eyeing the stage with the masquerading poles and the lions are caged. So now I gotta vacuum in my depression, used to sit and throw accusations, lessons, clues and fits until I bruised this lip switch, my deuce eclipsed. Open the window on the wall, a crucifix, cast a shadow at the flash of a barrel. My thoughts took the form of arrow shot into the sun, and it blinded me with this extraction of my tarot. You'll never understand until you've already won. You'll never understand until the flash of that gun projects it in perspective, and you laugh at your tongue for the passions that sung and the knowledge it claims. Progression changes essence, all we got is our names. Man, the trap is so beautifully set, it almost makes me laugh at all these dutiful pets. Pushed around the floodgates, they're focused on the foreground. The system can be brought down, ambition got the force bound. But revolution needs to come to you first, cause most of y'all are thinking like 2-year-olds funded with thirst. And fucking insecurity put you under the curse, while we only last a second to the sun and the earth.
His only law is his own pleasure. His only morality is his own good. He is a machine for self-gratification, not a human being. I recommend that he be sterilized.
Is there no hope for him?
He is shallow. He is egocentric. There is no hope.
This is my chance to finally let y'all know how it really feels to have Cupid's arrow stuck in your Achilles heel, to feel the venom inside of your vein system. You probably ain't listening to all these inflamed visions, but just the same they all cry and beg to be vocalized. And who am I to say what type of text can open eyes? I mean, I know I'm supposed to quest and roll the dice, but sometimes they weigh a ton indexed and oversized. Most obliged y'all could come socialize all for one. This here is my cipher and I fill it with you. The truth don't matter, just who you give try to get a perspective on things. Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder, right? I saw you through another man's eyes. Saw myself in a bubble, hands tied. Couldn't reach you in time, and every night the dreams end the same way with lies and petty fights. Thought I saw you in the crowd the other day, and your image had an aura about it of blooded blades. But it was someone else. It always is. I hover in your presence 1 second and fall from bliss. I saw a wine glass full of water, perfect metaphor for my life in this disorder. Makes me watch chances enlist for the slaughter, and opportunities keep their distance at the border. I saw our daughters shave their heads for freedom. I saw Adam bleach his dreads in Eden. I even heard Eve asking for the reason. He said my colors change like the turning of the season. So I slide with my little eye, something that starts with an A. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with a B. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with a C. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with a D. I saw you through another man's vision, until my ego flooded the transmission. And then I saw nothing but static until it cleared. And as I understand it, this panic that's in my ear is a planet built from fear, and it orbits your image. I saw it in a dream and recorded the minutes, so before you were saying it could be surgically removed, I could play those minutes back in eternity for you. I saw empty buildings lit like furnaces, poets grabbing microphones trying to flip like journalists, while the eternalists all grew bored and started writing down the words on the bright blue core in rooms that resembled not men but elder things, spirits, demons with beaks and feathered wings. I saw it all deep inside your iris. I know your secret too now, sleep until I'm lifeless. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with an A. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with a B. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with a C. I slide with my little eye, something that starts with a D.
Hey, you write poems, friends? You think you might make a good songwriter? Let me tell you something. If you got some poems, or if you feel like you can write some poems, you don't have to write the music. That's done by Music City Songcrafters of Nashville, Tennessee. That's their business. They analyze thousands of poems written by folks just like you and me to see if they're suitable to be set to music. You write the words, they fit them to music. So if you like to write poems, investigate today. Send your poems right now to Poem, P-O-E-M.
I have visions of the sky exploding, of going back to my childhood and get lost at the Stock and Water Festival. In the crowd I see a boy resembling me, laughing at the image of his own defunkt Kismet. Each year time seems to speed up somehow, and I've managed to shut life out of my apartment, where I sit and make up my mind about tomorrow. The paintings move around on the walls while I'm thinking.
The puppet named itself Mirror Maker, smashed the test tube against his heart implant, and it broke past rescue. Picked himself up, sentence by sentence, and put him back at random, but they all spell out weapons. Pity buys my canvases, feeds my hope when getting the color stylish writers too hard, I dream eyes open. Where subway stations carve themselves out of the blackness. But this train ain't stopping until it crash into my axis. I feel like maybe I should write something political, like it's a fucked up world, but I don't trust myself enough. So unless this runaway system self-destruct, I'ma take it for what it is. If I only knew what it was. So save your little judgments and collect them in a shoebox, where you sat in the glass castle and threw rocks. And maybe if you bury that box in the garden, the plants would grow to resemble men, and we can grow to envy them. I know their patterns like the back of mine. I see them painted on their faces, sharing black designs that read excuse my existence, but tell me that you notice it. So what, I'm just a globalist trying to deal with hopelessness. How am I supposed to know this shit? Can't even tell right from wrong. But give me the words, I'll string this instrument and write the song. But no solos, right, and no choruses, and no more selling beats to conceited tourists with trigger finger tickling focus buttons. The Cyclops blinks, oblivious to context, but I catched it for a second, grew bored and choose to lack it. And I overstand if y'all need targets for your practice, and armies for your ad-libs, and frames for your memories, brains, identities, and names for your enemies. So I let it be alone and close my eyes to its reflection. It's true, the only freedom we have is imperfection. Yes, I am a scribe, yes, I am an artist. Open doors inside, recite, I must be honest. Yes, I am a fool, yes, I am a poet. Yes, I am, I think, and therefore I still don't know it. Musicians to the stage. Musicians to the stage area. I know a girl who owns a saxophone. She paints the rays of the sun in the blackest tones. I go to see her play but keep my distance, and when she puts her lips to the mouthpiece and speak I listen. She starts to preach the prism, shatter chords and breach their system. Fishing bomb incisions, atoms pause and keep positions. Cause she argues when she solos, can tear myself from it. And when the bass comes in, it punches me in the stomach. So I plummet to the ground where the drum hits make sounds. When they carpet bomb the canvas, a jazz conversation. Jazz. Out your thrones, bring the justice in, shut the curtains on the world, kill your phone and let's begin. It's a drug that numb is still you're questioning. Cause who needs life with such beautiful distractions? I guess maybe I do.
You are frightened. Sometimes. And sometimes I love every minute of it.
Like you afraid of something. Yo, life is a death trap. Cop out. Aegiz in a. Yeah. Like this. just don't quit. I mean, you just don't stop. I mean, you just don't stop. You just don't stop. The coffee's watered down. She pours it with respect in the sink. She's my regret, I feed it when I need it. Wish I could leave it, I mean her, no I mean that absurd. Need to bleed this yearn down her cleavage. She hold my hand, even though she's not allowed. I guess out of guilt, but I don't say it out loud. I tell her, you're too afraid to fail. Realize that time flies with blind eyes. Like you know you're stuck rubbing after its paper trail. You can't ride it like a wave, that's an ocean of stress. I got you holding your breath, nothing but smoke in your chest. You need to exhale, you need to talk to somebody before your legs fail. And I'm sorry you can't be me, but I honestly can't see how it is you think I'ma do that and stay from sinking. When you copyright infringement on my way of thinking. Got these third person eyes fixed afraid of blinking. So in this room for thought, the windows of opportunity are blocked by iron curtains on which I wrote this eulogy about you and me. And how it used to be, about you and me, about you. Cause in this room for thought, the windows of opportunity are blocked by iron curtains on which I wrote this eulogy about you and me. And how it used to be, about you and me, about you. I broke my pen, tried to write to you tonight. It drew you wrong and typed it out like you were right. I had to kill it and break it to shut it up. It bled all over my shirt, red October alerts. I couldn't think for so long after you did it. Still don't know why you couldn't hold on a minute. That was wrong, admit it. Took this bond that knitted you into wall and slid it like you was born to kill it. I have to hate you now, Ophelia, don't make a sound. Cause I'm still walking on these ripples here, afraid to drown sober. And you put me in the back where it's colder, to watch me grow older. The coffee's watered down, I pour it with respect in the cup. There's not enough liquid to fill it up, so I treasure what I have and I drink it like I'm thirsty. And I grip the glass tight though it burns me. Cause in this room for thought, the windows of opportunity are blocked by iron curtains on which I wrote this eulogy about you and me. And how it used to be, about you and me, about you. Cause in this room for thought, the windows of opportunity are blocked by iron curtains on which I wrote this eulogy about you and me. And how it used to be, about you and me, about you. About you, about us, about you and me, fitting beautifully about us, about this and you just don't quit, I mean you just don't stop, I mean you just don't quit, I mean you just don't stop. Daydreamers anthem. Man, all this gig ever taught me was to count down from 5, like Wednesday, Tuesday. Depressed and shit. The clock's face have has to hold it with that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship, but drones fall apart at divorce. Put us back together, right? We plotting this course. The clock's face have has to hold the whip that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship, the drones fall apart at divorce. Put us back together, right? We plotting this course. 6 a.m. Monday morning and I boarded the slave ship. Watch the pieces of its clockwork fall into places. For production, report to the grave ship. Surrendered at ambition of divorcing the matrix. And that's you, defined by them, and they are all parasites. Disguised as friends, and your friends are disguised as enemies, and hence your eyes have been shadowed as the tapestry descends. I spend far too much time around typical humans. I'm starting to care about the ways I interact. I mean, I'm at the point where I don't know what I'm doing, giving away intentions and lie that we all just try to our reason and the reason, man, we were born to die. Okay, shackles aside, let's not concern with the prison. The work, sleep, learn, but repetition. What the fuck's your position? Isn't your cockpit? Your front row at the apocalypse, watching it. And that's your seat over there, got you targeted. If your career is your life, put your heart in it. The clock's face, have has to hold it with that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship and drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course. The clock's face, have has to hold it with that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship and drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course. We drove that slave ship over the rim of the earth, like fuck the stretch of passing, beginning from birth. It was a conscious action animated with delay. I forgot it ever happened, then later came the rain and washed the pavement pained. I saw it stayed the same, and the liquid acid spray still couldn't erase the flame. My easy way out and frame. My cell was 4 walls, 1 ceiling and no floor. I fell as gravity reversed and held my ground with only vanities are certain. Searching the diversion, so to unwill through learning, but all I found was more curtains behind the curtains. This landscape is dressed in concrete and glass, and the hives to each side's alive and breathe gas. They swallow people that return from the machinery and spit them back up each morning, repeating the circle of inner city life and death. And the system evidently can't tell right from left, but they force it on your interface to guide your steps. It's not much, but it's home. I'm surprised you slept. The clock's face, have has to hold the whip that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship, but drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course. The clock's face, have has to hold the whip that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship, but drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course. The clock's face, have has to hold the whip that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship and drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course. The clock's face, have has to hold it with that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship and drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course. The clock's face, have has to hold it with that mark. Slaves, no man control the ship and drones fall apart at the oars. To put us back together, right, we plotting this course.
Concrete captain, sported on the face. Now been schooled with the tools of the trade.
Past elegant, active intelligence.
I'll only give you ideas, you'll have to walk yourself through it.
Captain, tools of the trade.
Active intelligence.
Walk yourself through it.
Apparently expressed it in my absence as a lesson. We were adolescents, trapped in the mad impression of Russian roulette. Beds up, no blanks were pressed in. Banging flash fluorescent, that other man's last aggression. Jacob found a tape in the attic, his dad's confession. Couldn't bag the essence, or rare to ask the questions. Crowded city streets split by the black procession. Then it was like depression, spit no sounds. When school was out, everybody split this ghost town. It ain't a home now, packed up and left my Nazareth. Left in search of something else, but love, respect, and alphabet. Cause they raised me as cold as a heartbeat. Trying just to staple down my soul to my body. Trying just to save up for some hope, cause it lost me. Yesteryear when snakes spoke softly in my ear. But tell them I don't hold the grudge no more. Tell them I found out she touched the core. pretty skin, tracing this meridian like blood inside its veins. No directions, blindfolds over her eyes, wondering if the sun remains. But where we going? Home to see the sky. She replied, well listen baby, don't ever believe your eyes, cause I never realized the dream for what it was. While I'm trekking around with the skeptical frown, and for us it don't take but a second to drown. I heard the grave maggots hiss with my head to the ground. They said, free your ghost, Omega ancient nemesis. It just is like the space between the sentences. So now I know my son share my demons, and if one of us don't run it'll devour us both. That's why I chose to be the stuntman for treason, so Jacob could endure to overpower the oath, the ghost. One for the money and two for the money, and that's how they running it down. That's how the sun is bound underground, with chains of urban circuitry. Slaves cursing nervously, framed on the murder scene, cause they know this is to blacken your soul. But the eyes of the serpent don't relax its control, and its advice proves for certain that there's cracks in the mold. They resupply the clothes, here it's laughing so cold. Tell them I don't hold the grudge no more. Tell them I found out she touched the core. Tell them I know not why they love this war, and that I never plan to hate them for the soulless stars. Tell them I don't hold the grudge no more. Tell them I found out she touched the core. Tell them I know not why they love this war, and that I never plan to hate them for the sun.
We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring
Will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time.
Sorry world, it just seems we're not compatible, and maybe I should leave you alone, though I ain't mad at you. Guess we had each other confused, that's all. Every time you put me on, I bruise myself in the balls. So, can't really say I miss you way too much older, so that I blame my interface for the mistakes I made sober. That the outcome of this is for the better, it's over. Now every day is the transition, September, October, and every night is the transition back. And every time we claim we're stuck, we're not gripping the fact that we're a future memory. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter now. I'm living to operate in this moment of truth, but they picking apart my ways, corroding the clues. I just don't know what to do, I just don't know what to do. A tourist in life, and yet nothing is new under the crescent. Satellite sympathy and really sing, claim my space to levitate with think machines don't intervene. No industry ambition to wither these sensations. No image, please listen. No gimmick, speak of wisdom. No poetry addition to flows that got a mission, and maybe it's pretentious, trying not to be pretentious. My vision senses most styles like Rhodes to touch it goes. Maybe I don't belong here, but all I compose is juxtaposed. Thus my doubt is as big as myself, and its impact on my day-to-day and really like helping. Output is helping, the boundary strong. When I tap into the energy to power these songs, I see myself reflected, recorded and pressed. Try to stand for what I write, shit of course I'm a mess. Try to sit with my beliefs, forever in peace, but these paradoxes push me to the edge of my seat. Like I can't fathom what to feel anymore, but at the same, I know exactly where I stand. It's a stereotype setup of values and plans, with no tolerance for bullshit at all. But damn, my land is filled with the vessels of dead dreams. But as alive as we are, we just as empty. And might be. It animates the meaning, and that's the meaning. Like we share the purpose of the policy made to gift the gap. Politics of MC battle winners take the middle class. Like to bridge the gap, it's centered in their mind maps, keeping all the slave modules out chasing climax. They're out chasing climax. You and me, we're out chasing climax. All day, every day. So I sit on the writer's bench, move my pen to hold my past in my grasp like my future. But some days I'm too tired to maneuver, tired to pursue the pipe dream. So I'm painting myself on the ground with black light beams, watching pixels, obsessed with filling up the white screen scatter. Lost and hounded by the white outside, naive as me, burning flowers in my lighthouse. But there's no point in acting depressed, but there's a question mark and I don't know the answers. I guess I'm out of breath. Blessed for God's sake like the rest of y'all, so my lines are pressed in heart shapes. Look, the sky is holding, that buys time to paint the walls shut with the will to write rhymes. But I can't stop complaining. I'm like the guy who just owned the October sky when he cries it's raining. Leaves smell like when they rot in puddles. They smell like fall. It's funny how your mind works. Leaves smell like. It depends on what leaves and what stays. Don't doubt it. One prisoner replied as fractions crown the thrones and savage sounds and moans. The damage drowns the clothes. This is still our town to own. And the chivalry be feeling weak as yo, we got them paid off. Broadcast both their sympathy. So if y'all ain't fluent in machine gun tongue, then this book is yours too, and that's your freedom hung from a tree, son, spun by the radio DJs that you listen to. They fuck you too, embracing the three-way, cause money talks a lot of bullshit to your ego while it's dancing on the table. That's your world, bullets, people. In fact, the world is evil, so the crescent moon is Zion, or whatever suffices quest to rule and die on. Proof justify this python grip we got you in. Pressure person's lifelong Bruce and mark your skin. Dollar bill with your seat and try to get back. Armor, murder, kill it. Now you're free by your Big Mac. Now you're free.
You have entered the meta theater.
The what?
A theater with no set plot, no set dialogue, and no audience. Our play is for the actors only.
Damn, it's bright in here. So bright. It's hard to be depressed with all these lights. Yo, this rhyme is named Mosaicism Is A Humanism. I don't really know what it means. It's not a philosophy, at least. Maybe it means I don't have any solutions. Anyways, this is how it goes. The merchant and the teacher took turns on the stage. Referred to the preacher, shouted burn his page. It's mind control that blinds the soul and greed dwell where lies are told. So hold him down to this flame. The preacher said, I never told you lies, my consciousness an open sky. But when I choose to think, you're drawing your blades. And that says something about the values of your institutes, where people perform their lives away, always afraid. Next to speak was the minister of politics. He said the preacher's right, the merchant has us on his dick. That's why we need to use the teacher and the advocate to keep him in check. Give me support, y'all, I'll handle it. At that, the soldier thought this is a council of war. Cleared his throat loudly to announce he had the floor. He drew his sword, said he would enforce the will of the person that could value the most support and skill. As long as they would keep him, he would keep their law. And now the merchant saw his chance and began to speak once more. He offered to provide half the soldiers' pay, as long as the minister would let him have a say in business of his concern, and what that meant would be decided by the advocate, as long as the teacher didn't mind it. To write it all down, they finally got the scribe, while the Mosaic artist laughed loudly. Then he cried, and he fucking cried his eyes out. Then he laughed, and he fucking laughed his lungs out. Then he cried, and he cried his little eyes out. Then he laughed, and he laughed his fucking lungs out. So bright in here. So bright. Damn. So bright. Just lights. Bright lights. I tried to paint Lisa's smile, cause I thought it would help me read it. Kissed her in Klimt colors that pollocked until the preset. But underneath it, the secrets flocked behind symbols that nodded at any interpretation that my mind kindled. I had to rethink. Clocks exploded in my body pockets, and swans threw elephant reflections across my logic. So I painted the meat market and hid the philosopher. Invited Sigmund Freud to my studio with parts of her left in the frame. Prior to waking up, talons and fangs extended, aspiring rage erupts with a Kandinsky saturated first person point of view. I became Van Gogh, and around her the void was blue. Illuminated walls all blue. On one side a dusty window let pastel yellow light fall through, and I saw it, the missing piece of the puzzle, and I painted it that day and never touched the brush again.
Abruptly, the sound ceased. The solitude became unendurable. Now suddenly there was a change, the passing of something, and all that remained was this gaunt quiet.